A police officer shot a black kid's German Shepherd for no reason, unaware his father was an FBI agent. What happened next will leave you speechless. 18-year-old Aaron Daniel stepped outside, the warmth of the afternoon sun matching his excitement. Beside him walked his birthday gift, a striking German Shepherd named Hank. The dog was a sight to behold, with a glossy black and tan coat, alert ears, and strong, confident strides. Aaron had always loved dogs, and Hank was the perfect companion, a gift from his father to celebrate his transition into adulthood. As they moved down the quiet neighborhood street, Aaron smiled proudly, holding Hank's leash in one hand. The dog walked obediently at his side, his tail wagging with enthusiasm. Aaron couldn't help but feel a swell of joy. He had already bonded with Hank over the past few days, teaching him tricks and commands that showed how well-trained and intelligent he was. The occasional glance from a passerby only added to Aaron's pride as they admired the magnificent dog. The peaceful walk was interrupted when a police cruiser slowed to a stop near the curb. Aaron glanced up at the vehicle, his steps faltering as the driver's door opened, and a white police officer stepped out. Officer Ray Thompson was well known in the area. His reputation for arrogance and prejudice preceded him. Officer Thompson stood there for a moment, saying nothing. His gaze lingered on Hank, his sharp eyes narrowing slightly as he seemed to admire the dog. The silence was unsettling. Aaron shifted his weight nervously but remained still, waiting for the officer to speak. Finally, Officer Thompson broke the silence, his tone laced with condescension. He tilted his head and asked, as though it were the most natural question in the world, who the dog belonged to and how much Aaron had been paid to walk him. The question stunned Aaron. For a second he wasn't sure he'd heard correctly. "Nobody is paying me anything," Aaron said, his voice respectful but tinged with confusion. Officer Thompson's lips curled into a mocking smile. He crossed his arms as he repeated himself, accusing Aaron of walking the dog for free. Aaron shook his head quickly, his voice calm but firm. He explained that the dog belonged to him, that Hank was a gift. The officer's smile only widened, his laughter erupting suddenly and echoing through the street. "This dog?" Officer Thompson said between fits of laughter, his voice dripping with disbelief. "This amazing dog? How could someone like you afford him?" Aaron's grip on the leash tightened instinctively. He frowned, his earlier excitement now replaced by a sinking feeling. He didn't understand why this officer was behaving this way. "He's mine," Aaron repeated, his voice low but steady. "My dad gave him to me." The officer's amusement vanished in an instant. His expression hardened, his laughter replaced with suspicion. "You're telling me you own this dog?" he demanded, stepping closer. His voice was sharper now, accusatory. "So you stole him then?" Aaron's heart pounded in his chest, the accusation sending a chill through him. He tried to protest, his voice trembling but insistent. "No, I didn't steal him. He's not stolen. He's mine." Officer Thompson's movements grew more aggressive as he loomed closer. "If he's yours," he said coldly, his words carrying a challenge, "prove it." Frustrated by the officer's refusal to believe him, Aaron knelt beside Hank. He wanted to show how well-trained the dog was, how connected they already were. With a calm but confident voice, he issued one of the commands he had practiced with Hank earlier that morning. The dog barked once, obediently and enthusiastically, just as Aaron had taught him. The sound of the bark seemed to trigger something in Officer Thompson. His hand shot to the gun, holstered at his hip, and he drew it instantly. His voice rose, sharp and defensive, as he accused Aaron of trying to sick the dog on him. Aaron's eyes widened in disbelief. "No!" he shouted, his voice breaking with desperation. "It's not like that. You're misunderstanding." But Officer Thompson wasn't listening. The tension in the air seemed to spiral out of control. Seeing the drawn weapon and the officer's aggressive stance, Hank barked again, this time louder, more agitated. The loyal dog could sense his owner's fear and tried to respond. His body tensed as if ready to protect Aaron. "Stop!" Aaron yelled, panic seizing him as he pulled hard on the leash, trying to calm Hank down.